Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start our video with a story in which our OP's neighbors claimed that part of his land belonged to them. Well, let's see how the OP reacted to this. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. My neighbor thinks they own part of my property. We own a 10.3-acre forested lot adjacent to our primary residence. Today, I met one of my neighbors who shares a corner post and boundary line with us. Their house is fairly close to the line, maybe within the setback even, and they conveyed that they believe they own roughly 1 acre of our property that goes upslope behind their house to a knoll. Some background here. We bought our property from the descendants of the original owners, and they had never actually been to it. The neighbors inherited the place from their parents. Supposedly, this was some kind of deal that was struck between the previous generation of owners to prevent someone from building right above the neighbor's house. Here's where it gets fun. Our legal parcel map is clear that we're correct about the property line, and so is the legal description on our deed. There's a utility easement for the power line, but that's it. Their legal parcel map is also clear that we're correct. I got a copy of the deed, and the legal description shows the same thing. The county has no record of any LLAs. The corner post connecting the properties is one of the original railroad survey markers attached to an old pine. It's also clearly marked on the survey map. Even if there had been a request for an LLA in that spot, it would have likely been denied. Our 10.3 acres is zoned R10, and there are no legal or geographical reasons for moving the line or reducing the property size to a non-conforming parcel. Our property is a big square. No landmarks, roads, streams, large gullies, a slope and knoll doesn't cut it according to the county planner. Clearly, I need to get some more information from the neighbor on where this idea originated and what they have to prove it. But the fact they believe they own property that I'm legally responsible for and pay property taxes on is concerning. Edit. Neighbor has yet to call me back, but I did have a lengthy conversation with a local surveyor. The map recordings all check out. It also looks like we may have dodged a bullet. The surveyor walked me through verifying the existing position of the boundary stakes, so we measured distance and angle from the reference tags, and they're in the correct spot. But the original builder put the damn house within a foot of the property line. Luckily, I have line of sight past the structure to our other stake, but there's definitely part of a small walkway and retaining wall that's over the line, but in a utility easement, as well as some electrical boxes. I'll tell this to the neighbor when we talk, and I'll be as nice as I can, but the fact is they have no legal claim on the land other than maybe an accidental few feet into the easement. I'm planning on spending the money for a survey regardless there are no questions or issues should we ever want to sell the parcel. For them, I'm not sure what they'll have to deal with. I'm assuming there could be a fine from the county for building within the setback. Other edit. Even if we wanted to be nice and try to sell them a small portion to handle their setback violations, it might not be legal for the county to sign off on it. According to the surveyor, California law has recently been amended, last 10 to 15 years, to state that all LLAs have to meet normal county requirements. So no one-off exemptions for LLAs to adjust for screw-ups just for the sake of it. And our second story. You should be ashamed. Irate customer blames me over the phone for another store's mistake. I'd been meaning to share this little story on here after I honestly never thought I would have my own little experience of mistaken identity. But here we are. Back in March, I started to work at a local grocery store's online orders department, helping fulfill customers' curbside orders so they can be ready for pickup. From what my manager and supervisor have said, before COVID hit, the department was rather quiet, with only a team of 3 to 4 really needed for things to run smoothly. However, it all quickly changed that we now need a team of 6 to 7 every day just to barely function most of the time. This is due to the naturally massive influx of orders we've been getting in all of a sudden, as many people now make the switch to online ordering due to our current times. Due to this sudden increased demand, though, virtually every online order department hasn't been able to keep up half the time, so orders being late have become quite common. This can naturally leave customers rather frustrated as they expected to have their groceries ready only to be informed that they're late. From my experience, most can be quite understanding, but you occasionally get those angry people who want an ear to berate. Just to give you a little context, there are 2 major parts to my job. Part 1, picking an order, going around the store to retrieve the items a customer ordered before dropping them off in our department. Part 2, taking an order, assembling the order for when a customer arrives to retrieve their groceries before taking it out to whoever designated parking spot they're in. For the past several months, Part 2 is what I've been doing, as it's oftentimes the least enjoyed part of the job and has the most customer interactions. Now, I work in Store A, and during the week this call happened. Things had been rather quiet. We didn't get as many orders as we usually do, and were able to do quite well for the past several days. To help speed things along, I was in the middle of picking a smaller order so my team could focus on the bigger ones when the mobile phone rang. Nothing new usually, just a customer calling to pick up their order. Today wasn't one of those moments. Hello, thank you for calling Store A's Curbside Pickup. My name's OP. Are you here to pick up an order? You know, you guys should really be awfully ashamed of yourself for how you do this online order stuff. Excuse me? What? The other day I came into your store to pick up my order. It was supposed to be ready at 1 p.m. However, I get to the store and I'm told my order isn't ready yet. My order was supposed to be ready, but it wasn't. I'm sorry, sir. I think you called the wrong store. What store did this happen at? The man completely ignores what I had to say and just continues to ramble. Now, I wasn't too happy about that, so I went inside to the customer service to complain about this because this is absolutely ridiculous. I placed my order for 1 p.m. only for you guys to tell me that it wasn't ready. How? Sir, I think you might have called the wrong store. We didn't have any late orders yesterday. So after complaining at customer service, some more people come on to complain about their orders being late too. As we're complaining, I see barely any employee wearing a mask despite them being required now. Do you want this whole thing to last longer? Do you want to spread COVID to everyone around like that idiot in chief we elected? People like you are why so many are sick right now. The phone rings again. An actual customer is here to pick up their order, but my manager sees I'm tied up with this guy to answer, so he takes the call. I filmed the whole thing, how no employees were wearing masks when this one loud manager lady comes down to tell me to be quiet. That I'm being too damn loud when her voice is practically rattling the windows. She wasn't even wearing a mask, too. Idiots like you are why we're having COVID till 2022. I already posted the footage to that Twitter, and many are angry like me. You're gonna get a call from police and the court soon because of it. The guy hung up immediately after that. I'm still beyond confused, but the guy listened to absolutely nothing I said and just kept rambling on about something that happened at another store. Things go normal as I inform my manager about the irate customer just in case he calls the store directly. I'm making my way back to take out orders only for the guy to call again. I give my usual script only to be cut off. I came yesterday to pick up my order schedule for 1 p.m. You Store B people told me it wasn't ready. It all made sense now. He thought he was yelling into the ear of someone from Store B, not realizing he called my store, Store A. I'm sorry, sir, but this isn't Store B. You called the wrong number. After going inside to complain, absolutely nobody was wearing any sort of masks. Do you people want this to last forever? Because that kind of mentality will make it last forever. Your manager was also extremely rude to me. She wanted me to be quiet when she was practically yelling over everyone. What kind of store do you people run? As this guy rambles, I see more people have shown up to retrieve their orders, and this guy just won't stop and listen at all. Not even offering to pass the phone to my manager will make him stop, as he's essentially now repeating everything he said before almost word for word. My supervisor finally just mimes for me to pass the phone to my manager so he can deal with this guy while I get back to my job. My manager has nearly a decade of retail experience with several years in HR, so he knew how to handle these kind of people. For the next 30 minutes, he was on the phone with this guy, listening to him complain endlessly into his ear and talking like a broken record at points as he repeats multiple points again and again. All the while, my manager simply says, "Okay," each and every single time. I've been informed that after 30 minutes, my manager was finally able to get the guy to realize he'd been calling the wrong store this whole time. He was complaining into the ears of people who had no clue what he was talking about. Apparently, he didn't even apologize, but did like how nice my manager was to him, that he wanted to place his orders with us instead. After needing some help, he finally did, with the whole thing going rather smoothly, yet never showed up ever again. My guess was that the embarrassment of the whole situation finally caught up to him and he didn't want to come back. I'm probably wrong, but I can hope. It's so annoying when people don't let you speak. Could have saved both of them and you some time. And our last story. Rich neighbor built a private helipad. Background. My aunt lives in and owns 2 canal front houses side by side in North Carolina. Roughly 2.5 years ago, some rich guy and his family bought the house across the canal, tore it down, and built a new huge house. 6 months later, his brother moved in 2 doors down. Last year, he bought the property between them and demolished the house. The local rumor was that he was going to build a playground for his kids, seeing as they're young and there's no community park close by. New fencing was put up, the land cleared, some paving was going on for the last 3 months. Now all of a sudden his private helicopter flew in and landed on that property. He's only flown it twice so far, but it's incredibly loud and scares all the neighborhood pets. This on top of the spray it causes from the canal water should you be in a boat at the time of takeoff or landing. I'm not a resident, but I stay in the second house often. She has to live there. She'd been planning on fixing up the second house and renting it as a timeshare, but I'm sure that having a low-flying helicopter buzzing around wouldn't make it a popular place to stay. Naturally, the whole neighborhood's in an uproar about it, and a community meeting is scheduled for Friday. We called the local planning office, and they said the neighbor had built a helipad without notifying all the neighbors during the approval or appeal period. They closed the case so quickly it made his head spin as fast as the helicopter blades. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.